Hi, and welcome to the Feel Good Always podcast. I'm Becky Bradley, and this is real stories of love, connection, and remembering who we are. I'm here with Laura Mirante, and if you're on YouTube, she is. You could see that she's going to be channeling for us. If you're not on YouTube, I'll put a link down below that maybe you'll want to watch. She's going to be channeling for us here. And if you didn't listen to the episode before, go back and listen to that one first and then listen to this one. Actually, you could do it in whatever order you want to do it in. Maybe listen to this first, but there is a whole entire episode where she talks about all of the work that she's doing, and we decided to separate this part out for people to listen. I love this because this is actually what I do too. I use a pendulum and a letter board like you have in front of you. And if you want to just really quickly, I know you said it in the last podcast, but really quickly describe what it is that is happening here as you are channeling. And then I'm going to ask you a question that hope maybe you can answer for anyone that's listening.
So, we were taught to use the pendulum and a letter board so that the pendulum would point to a letter, and then I would write it down and then get another letter and write it down. And that's how I started, one letter at a time, spelling out words. And then the more that you do this, the more the energy of the or the awareness of the word starts to come to you. And then if you start to let that come out, more comes. And so when I channel, and I always tell people that I cannot edit it. Whatever comes, even if it feels uncomfortable for me to say, I have to say it or nothing else is going to come. That's the channel. It's a stream of consciousness. It's not coming from my memory bank. This isn't just memorized curriculum. When I tap in, I am tapping into spirit. Spirit is tapping into, like if I'm working with you, they're tapping into your field and what's going on in your life, and they'll give that spirit perspective of your life. And when I say spirit perspective, spirit is always concerned with us living true to our soul. So it's always going to be showing us where we can live more soul aligned, where we, can add something. They don't ever judge, and they don't tell you what to do. They'll say, well, if you go in this direction, you'll have this experience. If you go in that direction, you'll have that experience. And then you get to choose, right? It's the truth. We define our experience by our choices. Anyway, so I said earlier, when I tap in, it's like I'll clear my mind of all thought. And then I see it like I'm actually going to open a door in my mind and step outside. And I step outside and I'm in the field. And in the field, it's like the night sky. And, when I work with you, your name brings me to your constellation in the sky. And all the points of the constellation are the potentials of you. When we go bigger picture, guides, entities, they'll come in like an Archangel Michael or an entity like the entity Michael is 1,050 souls. They are souls that lived physical world experiences that have now all, I want to say they hang out together in the ethers, in the field, looking to reach people who want to wake up and connect. And they've been doing this for decades. There are books written. The first ones were by Chelsea Quinn Yarborough. And let me see, Jose Stevens, and I can't forget who else it is, but the Michael Handbook, phenomenal book if you want to learn about who we are as souls. So anyway, they come through a lot, different, and it matters. When an entity comes through, you get the big picture. If an individual guide comes through or a loved one, it's different. It gets more human, more concentrated into what the human mind can normally work with. The expansive stuff asks us to expand what we think. So anyway, I set the platform always asking for the messages for the highest good of you, of me, of all. When we can leave it like that and you let it flow, or you can ask something that brings us into more of a focus. So my pendulum opens the door, I kind of say, and I'll let it flow. It's up to you where you want to go.
Yeah. So in the spirit of the Feel Good Always podcast, I was saying that I do believe that a lot of the listeners here are they're being activated into this higher consciousness and, ascension. We talk about spiritual awakening and ascension on here, and that it can be very intense. And, any words of wisdom that is coming through for whoever, I know that we don't actually know, that who is going to come through, like, about that, about us walking into this together as I really say, we're being upgraded. Our bodies are being upgraded. So any information that could help the people that are listening, this spiritual truth that, if you could provide that from whoever wants to come through.
I want to say, because people have different ideas about opening up to spirit and what's out there. So I do always say a prayer silently in my head and ask for, loving, caring, well-intentioned souls. I know that I have certain guides I work with, and then I know that what comes through me comes through the Christ consciousness. So I just want to put that out there, that that's the platform I tap into. So here we go. I don't know who it is. I don't know where we're going, but it's starting off very specific. The issues at hand are more than most minds can handle. And that's what you're dealing with here. What can we know? What can we work with intellectually to help us move through this major moment of change in the world? That's what people are experiencing, each one in their own life, seeing where they are in the struggle to be free. Hear those words. For when you speak in terms of great awakening, they're concentrated capsules of intellectualization that have so many tendrils to people's ideas, expectations, and assumptions. So even now, you want to let go of that concept being relevant. It's more than what it has been defined. So leaving behind the definitions are important. That's what you've come to understand about your journey as a soul, that you are so much more than just a mother. Kira is so much more than just a daughter. There are energies of purpose that combine you as souls, that create a direction, that allow an experience. And you are relevant in the what you would call great awakening in ways that you have not yet configured logically. And you know this, and that's the brilliance, where you do not fear what you do not know. You do not fear what you cannot control. So what you do is allow the energy, potential to be expressed in ways that complement the current dynamic of being human. You see, not to achieve the goal your mind sets, not to do what you think people need you to do. And even there, with all the good intentions in the world, a mind can be duplicitous in its sense of direction. So you want to understand, you are not here to fix anybody. You are here to explore an experience of being beyond the limits of the cognitive ideas you were handed. And yes, it's important for you to realize that the ancestors work with you and the future generations work with you. And you're here knowing that that's all a part of what inspires you to keep exploring. Many feel that way now. That is the true great awakening. It isn't that the systems outside of people must change. It is that the inner dynamic of being is being correlated now to allow divine knowing to be the impetus for being. Now you understand that feeling of knowing. You also know how hard the mind has tried to contrive in some way a meaning that you can understand. That's what you know to be true. There's the only struggle that has ever kept you from fully embodying the divine knowing. It has always been a desire to help. And you faced it and you looked at it and said, okay, I have no idea what people need. So if I let that go, I could know more about who I'm here to be. That's everything. That's the great awakening. It isn't changing of the guard, so to speak, governmentally, as much as it is an internal restructuring of governing of self. Ooh, an internal restructuring of governing of self. And it isn't for your ego mind to define what needs to be restructured. So that then takes all of the responsibilities off your shoulder of trying to figure it out. People have a hard time believing in that. People's difficulties believing in a divine unfolding tends to be the biggest impetus for change in the human experience right now. There is a divine dynamic unfolding. The Christ consciousness is expanding. The Buddha nature challenging each individual to find peace. You're thinking, well, that's just crazy. With all the wars going on in the world, it's not about peace. We can't look at the world fighting and think this is how we achieve peace. Yet you know it to be true For in complacency, nobody strives for more. So we had to create such a discomfort in our ego dynamic that would challenge each individual to find peace in their own lives, in their own way, in their own inner battles and inner struggle for control. Let there be that awareness. That awareness is all that we are. Let there be that curiosity in the mind to know that whatever it is that is happening has a divine coordinate that works in tangent with all life experiences. And you may not see the connections. You may not feel the relevance in the moment, but knowing the importance of trusting your instinct is everything now. With the way that artificial intelligence is going to be manipulating people's intellectualizations, you can know now trusting your instinct is how you move through, how you find truth, how you stay aligned in the divine. And that is what we are working toward. So as the, as the entities in charge tempt you with fear, tempt you with grief, tempt you with anger to disconnect from the divine, you can realize that those moments are choice points in every misconception that instigates fear of the unknown. You can transmute that dynamic of being by offering yourself a faith in unknown possibilities being divine, as if the divine knows it cannot give you the coordinates, for then your little mind would contain them and restrict the nature of the purpose. We are all in it, all souls, expanding into experiences that have never been explored before. You're already good at that. So you can see how important it is to create that archetype in the dynamic of being human. That you can see as the purpose of your experience. That you can know as the impetus for this challenge that you have of changing the trajectory of the grieving process as an evolutionary path.
Thank you so much, especially that last part, changing the grieving process as an evolutionary path. That is, all of it was so beautiful, which I am going to type out below. It'll be in a transcript. I'll probably put it in a Substack post because these words carry frequency, and that there's so much in what you just said that people are probably going to want to read the transcript themselves. I always say, find the meaning yourself. For me, I just want to say there's so much, but those last words of the grieving process is a constant thing that Kira has been sending to me. That message of that I'm talking about grief and feel good always. That it can be done a different way, that it's not toxic positivity, that we can feel to the depths of our soul and also have the divine right to feel good. And doesn't mean that it's not hard sometimes, but to do it a different way and to deeply know that we are connected and that it's not just words, it's a feeling, So, wow, you have such a gift. And I'm just sitting here nodding my head as you were saying all that. And what I'm going to do is listen again. And I encourage the people that I'll listen over and over to these kind of channelings. Like you said on the previous podcast, that's what you open the channel. So if you're listening, listen again, because it's not just the words that are coming through. It's a frequency that is a spiritual truth that is coming through you. And especially the question asking about the Great Awakening, there was so much in there. It's not about changing what's on the outside, like governmental. It's the inside governing of ourselves.
Yeah.
So
yeah, really, really insightful. There is a lot there, and you're right. The more you listen and the more you read it back, you see so much more because it comes through so quick. And I wanted to say that to you, one letter at a time when I started. Now I can barely keep up to what comes through. It's
yes,
constant evolution, and every year it changes. Every year. I also want to offer, I have the spiritual alignment for 2026. We're in the 4th week. If anybody wants to jump in, they're all recorded and they can be worked with. And it's really powerful insight on all that's changing in the world now.
Awesome. That's all on your website, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll put that down below. And no matter when anybody's listening to this, you're always offering things. So if you're listening to this months later, that they could check out what you're offering, and who knows where you're going.
Yeah, true.
Because we're just being rocketed into another dimension, right? And we are doing it, and everyone that's listening is doing it, and I'm so excited. Yes, thank you for your time and for sharing your great gifts with the world. And thank you to everybody that took the time to listen to this and that's doing this work. If you are listening, you are doing the work, and we're the forerunners, the pioneers, going first, which is not easy. And I encourage everyone that's listening to stand in the truth of what you know is true and real, and just keep going, and keep listening. So thank you, everyone, and feel good always. Bye-bye, Laura.